Oh my God.
Today we're with Kylie. Today we're speaking with Kylie. Kylie has just run the manifestation experiment, which Kristy and I actually were involved in. We did. We ran through it with her. It was for the first time that Kylie had done it. So, yeah, that was super exciting.
It was awesome.
And so, yeah, we've decided to have Kylie on for a chat, bit of a synopsis of what it all is about, and to talk generally about manifestation. So, which is an awesome, awesome broad subject. So, yeah, let's get started with what inspired you to create the manifestation experiment, and why did you choose to call it an experiment instead of just a program?
Thanks, Amanda and Kristy. It's lovely to be here, and I'm excited to talk about the experiment. So it came about many, many years ago. Once upon a time, back in the day, I've been drawn to manifestation and spirituality and the law of attraction since back in my teenage years, which is a long time ago. But for a long time, it was kind of this thing that I dipped in and out of. So like I'd take up journaling for a while and then I'd fall off, and then I'd make a vision board and then eventually I'd forget about it. And so my manifestation results were about as consistent as my practice was.
Yeah.
But then eventually I kind of got to the point where I realized that I was talking the talk, but I wasn't really walking the walk. Like I was saying that I believed in manifestation, but I wasn't really living authentically as if it was already working. So I had the hope and the wish, but not actually that trusting piece.
Yeah.
So one morning, a few years ago now, I kind of hit a bit of a breaking point. I was so sick of feeling broke and frustrated, and I was tired of waiting for something to change. So I don't know why this day was the day, but it just was the day. And I got out of bed that morning and I stood beside my bed and I felt really pretty stupid. But out loud, I said to the universe, I am a six-figure woman. And I wasn't a six-figure woman. So this was like my declaration to the universe. And it was like, I'm no longer wishing. It's not going to be someday. This is like the line in the sand. The decision is made and the commitment is made. So from that moment, I decided to live as if I actually believed it, even if I really didn't at the moment, and not just to be dabbling anymore, but to actually be kind of in the frequency and the vibration of it. So that statement, I am a six-figure woman, that was the first thing I said to myself every morning and the last thing I said to myself as I went to sleep every night. And every time I remembered during the day, I said it again. So it became like a mantra.
Yep.
And surprisingly quickly, everything began to shift. And it wasn't because I was doing more or hustling harder. I can look back now and realize and see that it's because I recalibrated who I was being.
Yeah.
And so that process was the seed that eventually, all these years later, became the manifestation experiment. And I knew that I didn't want it to be just another manifestation course where you just consume the information and you take the notes and then, like my vision board or my journaling, you forget about it, right? So I wanted it to be playful. I wanted it to be fun. And that's why I called it an experiment, because it's not just about learning. It was about experimenting, because I didn't know what results other people were going to get either. So I couldn't promise anything. It was just be like, come and play this experiment for me. Let's see what happens when we tune in and align and watch the universe respond in real time as you go through it. So it was about seeing proof and noticing what's already coming and being able to amplify it. And it was specifically for people who were just like me at that moment in time, where, you know, the spiritual seekers, but sometimes they're overthinkers and they've done the work, but they haven't really seen the shift. So my theory was, when you start living what you want to believe, the magic will show up.
Yep.
So there's the backstory.
Yep.
So good.
So your hypothesis, being an experiment, it's a hypothesis, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Yeah.
And how have the participants gone with proving that?
Yes, well, the results were pretty amazing, actually. And like I said, we had no idea what was going to come of it. So I was like, I just wonder what's going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to be surprised by the universe. So financially, people have had financial wins in the process. We had one lady manifested a $2,000 completely unexpected monetary gift. Others have had new job opportunities. So there's been lots of tangible things, but some of the really big shifts outside of that have been the mindset shifts.
Yep.
So I've had some people tell me they finally felt safe asking to be paid what they're worth. So they might have,
huge.
they
Yeah.
might have raised their prices or their rates, and then they had these dream clients come in and they'd just say yes. There was no discussion about it, no bartering on the price. It was just a yes. And then some other people have said, I just have this sense of peace where there used to be this quiet panic in the background.
Yeah.
I feel worthy for the first time in years. I'm letting go of old shame around money, and people just saying, I now have this inner knowing that I'm different now and I can't go back to who I was.
Yeah, I can relate to that one especially. Yeah, there's different things that, and I've noticed that I've manifested a lot of free things. I went to the bakery yesterday and she was like, "Oh, we're about to close. Just pick whatever you want. Help yourself."
Amazing.
I'm going to throw it away anyway. So that, I've got some tickets to a musical in a couple of months.
Nice.
Yeah, so I can't think of anything off the top of my head at the moment, but that was not all. But also, but that main mindset thing, that shift of just feeling more comfortable within my own skin, feeling happy with who I am, and confident about the future.
Yes, that confidence is something that really came through for a lot of people as well. The free things was something fairly prominent also.
Yeah.
I remember one lady was gifted a workshop weekend. She's a practitioner, and she was
Nice.
gifted this an entire weekend. They can be many hundreds of dollars for tickets to those sorts of things. And she was so excited about it because it was a topic that she really wanted to study, and she received a gifted ticket. So, yeah.
What about yours, Kristy?
Kylie doesn't know about this.
I was going to say, I don't think I know about this.
No. So just after I started the experiment, I actually had a phone call that I missed from a girlfriend who lives up north. And we were in Sydney in, kind of the kids and I were cramped into this little apartment because we were down there for medical purposes. So not the most exciting, fun holiday. And I rang her back and we had a quick chat and she just said, "So do you feel like a holiday?" And I went, "What?" She goes, "You are the most worthy person I can think of to give this to." And she had won a $30,000 package for 6 women. And I have to drive up to Brisbane. We fly out of Brisbane Airport and go to North Queensland. And we are hanging out on super yachts and
what the hell?
Yeah, right. And tickets to White on Whitehaven Beach, which is a big white party where you go and hang out on the beach, dinner, drinks, accommodation, everything for, I think it's 3 days. And I was like, shit, like I never win anything. I'm known not to win anything because my brother is incredibly lucky. Like if he buys a raffle ticket, he will win. So I just got to a point when I was younger, I was like, Margaret, I'm never even going to try anymore, right? And so that came up. I was like, oh my God. And then 2 nights ago, I had a text message from a girlfriend locally. They had put on a musical performance to raise money because her son had broken another child's big double bass. So they did this big performance called Replace the Bass. And I had bought a ticket and I bought a ticket for my daughter and also bought a door prize ticket. And she texted me because I was unable to go. I was sick in bed. And she said, "Well, just letting you know you won the best prize that we had." And I've scored 2 nights in accommodation in town, like in a beautiful little Airbnb.
Wow.
I know. I was
How did you keep that all to yourself and not tell me all this time?
I was just like, Kylie's coming on the podcast. I'll save it.
You're going to surprise me.
Yeah. And same thing, like just very, like I definitely have seen a shift in my mindset towards money. And I want to speak to the profound nature of and I can't remember what you called it, but it was the special workshop that you did where we did the meditation.
Was it the money breakthrough one where we talked to money or money talked to us, or was it the timeline jumping one where we went into our future self?
Timeline one. Yeah. And that first one, I was like, holy moly, this is amazing. And like I've done work on money for years and years and years. And then that second one, I called Amanda afterwards. I was like, this is profound. Like I'm looking at my paperwork and I'm like, I can't believe that this is what's come up and that I haven't actually seen it before. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So cool, huh?
Yeah.
Very cool.
They're called unconscious blocks because we're not aware of them.
Yeah, I know.
And isn't it interesting how even when you've done a lot of work, right, there's still some things hiding there and you just never know when they're going to come to light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So incredible.
And that speaks to the importance of that continuity. You know, like some people have said to me things like, "Oh, you still do that? You know, you're always looking at something. You're always reading some book. You're always listening to some podcast or audiobook or whatever." You know, like most of the books I listen to in the car are manifestation related because, you know, we were speaking about authors briefly before we came on, and Frederick E. Dodson is who I'm listening to at the moment. And I think it's about the third maybe of book of his that I've listened to. And I really like it because he just speaks through all these things and he goes into all the experiences that he's had personally and other clients have had. And it just acts as a constant reminder.
Yes.
And it just reactivates all of that energy within me. And I stay at that level for as long as possible in between each listening, as well as all the other work that I do. So, I find that really buoying.
Yes. Love his books.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, what's the best way to learn a new language fast and really understand it?
Go and live in Italy.
Immersion, right? Immersion. There you go.
Immersion. Word.
Yep. Just the same thing as when you're wanting to manifest things, or which ultimately what's underneath that is when you're wanting to shift who you are being in order to align with what you want in your life. The best way to do it is immersion. And that was part of the experiment as well, was it was structured as just a simple little day-to-day thing, you know, just 5 or 10 minutes a day that switches on or activates your awareness, and then that awareness stays there for the whole rest of that day. And then the next day you get a new activation and a new awareness. So it's keeping you in the vibe.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And it, you know,
I
like
love that so much.
We live in a world where we're programmed that this stuff is outside of us and that we have to seek it out or, you know, want it so desperately. So that daily reminder to reprogram is essential, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's really interesting what you say about the outside, because we all, as a generalization of the population and of human beings, we tend to look at the outside world as if it's separate to us rather than a reflection of what's happening inside us. So it actually all starts inside of us. But when things are going on outside of us, we kind of go, we think we have to react to those or respond to the things that are happening outside. But in reality, if we just shift our feeling on the inside, then the outside starts to come back in line. It reflects and responds to who and what we are being on the inside.
Yeah. Preaching to the choir here, I think. You know, like this is what we talk about so often on the podcast is it's the reflection. And if you don't like it, then what can you do to shift it?
Right.
You know? And it's different, but yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So just I would be interested to know why, like, what have you heard as far as feedback goes when people are like, well, I'm doing all the right things. Like we just talked about blocks. So what are the kind of, I don't want to say big mistakes, but what are you seeing that people are doing that keeps them out of alignment?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people who feel like manifestation isn't working for them. Like it doesn't work for me. Even though, and this was kind of the space that I was in all those years ago as well, even though they have a belief that manifestation works, but it's kind of like it works for them, but it doesn't necessarily work for me. And I feel like I'm doing all the things, but it's just not happening. Right. So they're journaling, they're visualizing, they're doing their affirmations, but nothing seems to be really changing. And then you start to question yourself and like, why is it not working for me? Why is it working for everyone else? And a funny little saying that I heard was that most people are approaching manifestation from the neck up. Right, they're all in their head about it. So it's that we're thinking about it. And we're like, okay, what all the things that I need to do? I'm thinking about it. I'm planning it, and all the things that I need to do. And it becomes a bit like a mental checklist. But manifestation is actually less about doing and more about being. So, we touched on before when you were telling your story, Kristy, about how those subconscious beliefs and blocks are still there, even though we're not aware of them. And if your subconscious beliefs are still stuck in scarcity or fear or unworthiness, you can journal all you want, put all the pictures that you want on your vision board, but your energy, your being is still saying it's not safe to receive.
Yeah.
And that's what the universe responds to, right? Not how much effort you put into it, but where your energy is coming from. And so most people are unknowingly manifesting from a place of lack and scarcity.
Yeah.
But they say, I want more money, but deep down they're like, I don't have enough money. What if I can't get any more money? Or what if I get the money and then it's taken away from me?
Yeah.
So that kind of contradiction kind of creates static, like, in your TV, in your radio, anything like that, like the static blocks the signal from coming through. And so that's a big part of what we did inside of the experiment, was to shift the focus from trying to manifest to instead becoming someone who notices and receives and allows and amplifies that kind of vibration. So it's kind of like when you stop chasing and you start allowing and receiving, then it really clicks. But it's a challenging thing to do, isn't it? Right? Especially if you're in a really challenging place and you kind of go, well, I really need money. And that energy of need actually blocks it from coming to you. So yeah, it can be a tricky place to be in. But I think if people just remember that it's not about how much you do, it's about who are you being.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what it brings up for me? So we did this cool, it was the love letter to money, right?
Yeah.
And for me, when I did it, I wrote it as if money was my divine union partner, and he was just standing there in front of me. And even just hearing what you said, it's that seeking energy really is a relationship, isn't it? Like you think about it from the perspective of seeking a partner or dating or, I need to use the apps to go and meet the man of my dreams kind of thing. And it really is this reciprocal relationship with money that seems to be just slightly out of balance. It is why it's not showing up.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I think we spoke about that briefly in one of those workshops, I think, whereby your relationship with money has an attachment style, just like a relationship with other people has an attachment style. And most of us are coming to money from either a fearful, avoidant or anxious attachment style.
Yeah.
And as we know, in real relationships, when we get into those kinds of states, it actually tends to push people away.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens with the energy of money.
Amazing.
We need to be able to step into a more secure state of being and attachment style towards the energy of money.
Yeah, that's right. And it's interesting using that secure attachment style when you think of money in terms of security. So there's quite the match there, isn't it?
Isn't it? For sure.
Yeah.
Something else that was in the VIP was the money reading.
Yes.
That blew my fucking mind.
I haven't listened to that.
What? Oh
I
my
forgot.
God. What?
Wait, did you say you haven't listened to it?
How could you?
Oh my God.
I'll have to go through and find it because that was a separate email, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what you think of it.
Yeah.
So what was it for you, Amanda, that blew your mind with it?
Well, because the biggest thing So when we first enrolled and we got those emails, one of the first questions was, welcome. And what is one thing that will really prove to you that this has worked? And mine was around housing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been in the house hunting in a rental market at the moment, which is kind of crazy because I haven't done it for years, and I have come up. It's been really interesting listening to people, especially locals to the area, telling me how bad it is, how hard it is, how they've known people that have been in the market for, it's taken them 18 months to find a house, and how they keep getting knocked back. And within 2 weeks of starting, I was offered a house and I knocked it back. And that was a whole thing in itself. I had to then go and process all the emotions that came up, because who the fuck am I to say no to this house?
Yeah.
In this market and this environment of you should take whatever you can get. So, yeah, and that was a couple of weeks ago. We're on the verge of being offered another house. We're getting approved for almost everything that we apply for. So I know it's going to happen soon. And the house is going to be the perfect home that in a month or two I'm going to move into and be like, yeah, that was worth waiting for. So now I'm being a lot more particular about my selection criteria. But going back to the money reading, you did them anonymously.
I did.
And you had a formula that you followed to ensure that they were anonymous using a number system, which I thought was really genius. It was,
Actually, the number system served two purposes. It was really interesting because the way that I tuned in to do the reading for people was through remote viewing. And when you do remote viewing, you use a 6-digit number in order to tune into the person. So I actually requested the 6-digit number for everyone for that purpose. And then I kind of went, over the course of the experiment, I've gotten to know a lot of people, and I don't want to have any bias come through when I do the reading. And so I'll just get my VA to give me everyone's number and questions de-identified. So then I could use the number both to tune in, but also to keep it anonymous. So it actually worked out really well.
Yeah, it did. And one of the first things that you said on my reading was home is where the heart is. And spoke about home, being home, and all that kind of safety and security. And I was just like in tears. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Wow.
Amazing. So yeah, really just spot on.
Yeah, amazing. And you're not the only one to speak to the power of being in a place where you can say no to something you thought was something that you wanted. So there was someone else in the experiment, and she was looking for work, and she's a yoga teacher. And she said she had job opportunities offered to her that she turned down, and she felt okay I hope I've got the story right. She felt okay turning them down because she knew that a more aligned offer was going to come, and it did. The perfect offer came.
Nice.
So that trust in abundance, like Amanda, you're now seeing that even in a tight rental market, there is an abundance of offerings for you, and you don't have to just accept what's on offer. You can wait for the better aligned opportunity. And I heard this many times from many people in the experiment, was just that trust that there is something that fits and you don't have to settle for less.
And nor should you. Because when you do, that is the message that you are pushing out. That's what's going to be mirrored back to you. So that substandard rental that I would have gone, oh, well, it'll do. There's a few things I don't like about it, would have then cascaded into worse. There would have been other issues that I hadn't been aware of that would suddenly arise, and it would become worse and worse, and it would be more and more of the same, more of the substandardness that I had accepted. And so I'm like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah. But by settling for less in whatever it is, the message that you're giving out is there is not more. It's a message of scarcity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
I did have the same thing with work, actually. I was offered a job and said no. It wasn't enough money, and it was too much doing a particular type of role that I didn't really want to do. And since then, I've got a job where I'm getting actually twice as much.
Wow.
Double the amount that I was offered the first time, and doing not half the work, but half the hard work. Like this, the original offer would have been quite physical labor kind of side of things, whereas this is more speaking to my strengths. It's accessing my art therapy and working with a client who is going to be, wants me to do that and work with her on that capacity, in that capacity and on that level. So, yeah, and getting twice as much money. And they keep saying to me, please work longer. Do more hours.
So
It's
a much
great.
more aligned opportunity.
Yeah.
With more money and more satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if you had just settled.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Tick, 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 huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so good.
Amazing.
Really big high-level lessons in discernment too. Is this for me? Is this not for me? And that space of I'm not sure, then being able to zoom in and look at the details and go, that's there in front of me. How does it make me feel? And just really tuning into, is this what I desire?
And being okay with the answer is.
And the discernment also plays into when you're sitting there asking yourself that question that Kristy said, is this for me or is this not for me? If I'm deciding that it is for me, where is that decision coming from? Is it coming from a place of abundance or is it coming from a place of fear?
Yep.
Because if it's coming from a place from fear, then even though it might feel like this is for me, it's actually not.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. And when you start to learn how the answers to those questions feel in your body, you start to be able to ascertain what is the difference between calmness and alignment versus anxiety.
Yes. And I think, I don't know if either of you listened to I think you did, the feast and famine meditation that was part of, and visualization that was part of the program. And what you're saying, Amanda, reminds me of this, because in that visualization, I take people through the process of feeling the famine, right? Feeling the lack and the scarcity, and then going, now, how does that feel in my body? And so you start to get a felt sense of what that feels like. And then we progress and we go into the feast and we go, now, how does that feel in my body? And then how does balance feel in my body? So that you have that felt sense of, this is what it feels like. So then if you're ever in that state of having to discern, is this opportunity for me or not? And you're in your head about it and trying to make up your mind, you can go, wait a minute, let's defer to my body. I remember what scarcity felt like and I remember what abundance felt like. So what does this one feel like? And then you can make your decision from there.
And do you feel like that is key to the experiment? Because I did notice that as we went through, it was this very multi-sensory kind of approach. And you've got voice notes and activations, you've got videos, you've got audio recordings. Do you think that that's really pertinent to manifestation?
Yes, I believe so, because for a couple of reasons. Number one is that, that whole scenario about manifesting from the neck up. It just doesn't work. We are embodied beings. And I feel that our body is here to guide us as well. That we talk about it all the time. We talk about gut feelings and all of those metaphors that we use to describe things about our body, is that we are designed to experience this world using our senses. And so we also know that different people have different dominant senses. Some people are more visual than others. Some are more kinesthetic or feeling than others. Some are more auditory than others. And so I wanted to be able to land the experiment to all of the people with all of their varying types of ways of learning and ways of being. So that was one aspect of it. But a large part of it was to get people back into their feeling senses, because when you can feel your way into a happy, abundant, exciting future, you have so much more opportunity to create that than when you're feeling fear but trying to pretend, right? So that whole scenario of feel the fear and do it anyway, there's validity to that, but fake it till you make it. There's some validity to that as well, but it only works if you can put yourself into the feeling.
Yeah.
Very
And then
cool.
you're not really faking it because you're there.
That's right. You're collapsing the time, right? Between the you right now that might really be feeling lack and fear, but then you're projecting yourself into the future, into the you that is abundant and has already achieved what you want. And then you're collapsing that time in between and bringing the two together. You're stepping into that future version of yourself. Fun, huh?
It's quantum.
It's quantum. It is.
So we were speaking to this a little bit earlier, weren't we, Kristy, and asking what happens after the experiment, because we want to know, because that's where we're sitting right now.
Right.
I want more holidays, Kylie.
Yes. So that is a good question. And the answer is there's things coming.
Watch this space.
It's a little bit of watch this space, and I'll tell you why. The first part is that when you join the experiment, you get to keep it. You can go back and do it again anytime you want, right? So it's always there for you. Anytime you feel like you need to dip back into it or you've gotten a little bit out of alignment, it's always there for you. So that's one amazing thing. Secondly, I do have some other programs in the works right now centered around, there's some that are very much centered around manifestation, some that are about being able to uncover and move past those limiting beliefs that you have. Some are just about being able to live in that beautiful, exciting, abundant state without getting into all of the mind chatter and the headset kind of stuff that we try and get away from. So I guess it's about being more embodied. So I have quite a number of programs in the making, and one by one they will be released. And I don't yet have a final one to tell you about right now, but it's not far off.
Awesome.
It's very elusive, isn't it? But just not quite there.
Intriguing.
Yes. Watch this space indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right, because obviously all the links and things like that will be in the show notes. And who knows, maybe it'll be done by the time this is released anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's quite possible, actually. And just going back to the experiment again and the fact that you've got it ongoing, we have this amazing little community of people who have been through the experiment. And as new people come in, they join that community. And I have said all along that there's power in the community of this and the amplification and the celebration of everyone's wins. So when you come into the experiment, you get to be able to see what everyone else has already manifested. And every new person that comes in amplifies and boosts that energy for everyone. So that's really exciting.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. So what else? We
I've got a cracking question.
All
right. So this is more personally aimed at you. So what you've done is incredible. And I would like to know, how does this change or challenge your kind of old world views of life in general? Like, do you feel like you've created something, but do you feel like you are living this now on the daily?
I'm not perfect. I'm still human. I still fall off the wagon. I still get into my stuff at times, but I feel like I'm more consistent than I ever have been. I feel like I'm able to just let things wash over me and go, well, how does it actually help me to fall into that rabbit hole of negative emotions? Right?
Yeah, catching yourself.
Catching yourself, exactly. It doesn't actually help me. And so I'm much better at being able to let things just go, oh, okay, that's not pleasant. Let's just watch and see, how does my body and my mind want to respond to this? How do I want to consciously respond to this? So I guess it's about being more conscious and being more aware, and just coming back to that understanding that everything happens for us, not to us.
Yeah.
So even in the moment when it feels like something's a bit prickly, there's usually always, in fact, I can't ever think of a time where there wasn't a silver lining.
Yes.
Right? We just don't know what that is right in the moment, but it's there somewhere. And so I think having that belief and that trust that we are always supported, we are always taken care of, has really helped me to become much more even keel as things come my way.
Yeah.
And I guess when you embody trust, more trust comes as well. Like I went into the experiment kind of going, I just don't know what's going to happen. And I just want it to be a fun ride for everyone. And along the way, like I trusted the concept and the proof came. And that is the whole premise of the experiment, right? So it was like it was a meta thing, right? It was like a little microcosm of the experiment within the macrocosm of bigger experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel like every step of this journey builds more trust in whatever opens up next.
Yeah. Trust you trust, doubt you doubt.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's
The full
great.
circle moment for you
That's
and
what
I,
our
isn't it,
teacher,
Amanda?
that's what our teacher when we did shamanic training would say constantly. I remember one time we were in a group session and I literally put my hand up to ask him a question. He turned around and went, doubt your doubt. And went back to whatever it was he was doing. I'm like,
I have to wait for that to sink into
yeah.
understanding.
I was like, okay, what do I do with that? Oh yeah, I'm doubting. Don't do that.
Yeah. I haven't heard that saying before, but that is exactly what I'm speaking to because typically we doubt the trust and we trust the doubt.
Yeah, that's right. So
And
it's
that's
that
right.
inversion,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep. So much inversion.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we just trust, and sometimes we have to trust what other people see in us rather than the doubt that is that little niggly thing in our own minds. And I'm sure everyone who's listening has had that experience where someone says to you, oh, but I see how amazing you are at that. And you go, no, I'm not. And I don't feel that. Or I see that you could do this. And you go, oh, no way. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what if just for a moment, you just actually believed what someone else said and you trusted that and you gave it a go?
Yeah. And isn't that such a fine balance, like, because again, you don't want to put your, that self-worth outside of yourself, but it's like, you know what, that does feel like it is in alignment of where I need to go. So I'm just going to tiptoe over that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool, huh?
Just one step at a time. That's all we need to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was
so much
fabulous.
fun.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. Flowed beautifully and was very, very enlightening. Even though we've done the whole thing. Yeah, that was great. So
easy topics to talk about when
I know, I love it.
You're passionate about.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Get in touch with Kylie. There's all sorts of links in the show notes and probably an extra one that we don't know about yet. So that's exciting.
On its way.
Yeah, and we'll have you on again because whatever you're coming up with later, we're going to want to talk about that too. So
Amazing.
That's super exciting. Thank you so, so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kylie.
Thank you both.
All right. Bye.